I'm really curious. Is there something in Samara Weaving's contracts that state that any movie that she's in has to go back crap insane by the end of the first act? Oh well, we're going to be talking about the Babysitter movies, ready or not. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all-new Talkin Movies Double Feature. As always, I'm your host, the real Gino Reynolds, and today we're going to be talking about a couple movies that I didn't even know existed until like a few weeks ago. They're on Netflix. You think I would have ran across them by now, but we're going to be talking about the Babysitter movies, The Babysitter and The Babysitter Killer Queen. You think I would have discovered these, especially since Samara Weaving is involved in the franchise, and her stock with me has only gone up ever since Ready or Not. But I'll say this to you guys. I'm going to do my best not to spoil anything, because though I'm reviewing these movies, I'm telling you this. Part of me wants you to listen to me for like a minute and then shut the review off. Because I would like to talk about some of the things that happen in the movie, or in the movies. So, but that being said, if I tell you it, it'll ruin a lot of the fun. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you my general feelings for both movies together, and then I'm going to tell you to go watch them. Because you should, because they're a lot of fun. But if you want after that, you can come back and listen to the rest of the review. Even though the rest of the review, I'm still not going to try to spoil too much, but I am going to be talking about some plot points. And I will be talking about the ending of the first one, and then kind of the ending of the second one. But just like I said, I recommend these movies a lot. They're on Netflix. If you dug like Ready or Not, you are gonna dig these movies. I'd say Ready or Not's still the better movie, but when you have Samara Weaving involved in another franchise that has a similar tone to Ready or Not, you know you're in for something fun. McG is the director of both of these, and he's talking about wanting to make a third one. I'm totally on board. So yeah, I highly recommend these movies, but don't go in as cold as possible. Don't watch a trailer or anything. Just if you like silly horror movies, uh, check these out. They're just a lot of fun. So anyway, are you still with me? I'm giving you a chance. And okay, here we go. The Babysitter, starring Samara Weaving and Judah Lewis. What this is about is a young boy named Cole. He's a little old to have a babysitter. That being said, he has the world's greatest babysitter in B, which is Samara Weaving's part. But he's at that age where he's starting to notice girls and everything, and of course, he checks out his babysitter a few times, and she actually does catch him once, and they're like really close. They're really friendly. She defends him against bullies. His parents are going out of town for a few days. It's like they go on like hotel rendezvous to keep the marriage spicy. And his friend, Melanie, says, okay, they talk about the babysitter and what babysitters do after the kid goes to sleep. And she's like, have you ever stayed awake? Have you ever noticed what they do? And he's like, no. And she goes, I dare you. And he goes, and she tells him to go to bed after they've had a night of fun. And she's like, look, will you go to bed if I give you a shot? And she brings him like a Mike's Hard Lemonade or something like that, like in a shot glass. And he's like, you're not going to do it with me? And she goes, okay. She goes to get one. He doesn't want to drink it, so he pours it out because he wants to stay awake. She comes back and he acts like he had drank it. And she sends him off to bed. And then when he's in bed for a little while, he hears a knock at the door, so he goes to the top of the stairwell to see what's going on. And, of course, he sees B and some of her friends playing Spin the Bottle and Truth or Dare with Spin the Bottle. And it's going like a game like that would go. It gets to a point where B chooses Dare, and this is where I'm going to get into spoiler territory, so again, you've been warned. And this is where the movie gets really fun, even though it's already fun to begin with. B is Dare to kiss everyone around the circle, and she does. Some she gives like a peck on the cheek. To Bella Thorne's character, she makes out with her. I mean, it's just this whole thing, and Cole is sitting there kind of like, I like this, right? Because again, he's like, I want to say he's like 14, 15 in this, because they show him trying to learn how to drive. So I would assume he's probably around 14, 15. And so anyway, it gets to this guy that seems to be the straggler of the group. He's kind of nerdy. Cole, you can tell, kind of connects with this guy because he looks like he doesn't fit in. Cole is kind of the geeky kid too. And she goes and finally convinces this new guy to kiss her. B does, and he does, and he seems to like it. And this is where I let out an audible "What the F?" But what's really funny, and again, I'm spoiling stuff here, so I'm warning you. You really should have watched this first. She pulls out 2 knives, stabs this guy in like the corner of the neck and the shoulder on both sides, or is it in the head? It's somewhere around there, and just double jams this guy with knives. And I let it on audible, "What the F?" But what's hilarious is it shows Cole, and on the screen, the letters WTF pop up, and I thought that was hilarious. And that's where the movie just starts to get crazy. You find out that this group wants Cole, for some reason, to be involved with the reason why they killed this guy. I'm not going to spoil everything, but let's just say that hilarious violence ensues for the rest of the movie. The basic gist of the movie is Cole has to man up a little bit to stop what's going on in his house. There's a lot of tropes there. The cops get called, all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's just all sorts of just crazy things going on, and it gets really funny and really, really bloody. The reason why this group is doing this, it's something I'm going to have to talk about in the second movie's review, but the reason they're doing it is it's a sort of ritual that'll give them whatever they want. That's the easiest way I can put it without really spoiling anything. Like big time spoiling anything. But basically the movie is Cole having to fight back because, it's, you think he'd run away from the house, and he does eventually, but he doesn't go very far, but he stands up for himself. But what's really funny is, okay, like the villains in Ready or Not, the villains in this, I mean, Samara Weaving's character is pretty capable, but while the villains are capable of violence, they're also just very vapid people. They are doing this for the most selfish of reasons. One of them, you find out in the second movie what they really want or why they have not succeeded in life. But like, and that's really a funny catch in the second one. We'll talk about that in a bit. But just the way these characters act, they're just so selfish and so, just like I said, they're vapid people. and they're so fun to watch. Again, it's like the villains in Ready or Not, where of course I mean, as much as I love the character of Bee, I love Samara Weaving. You can't really root for her in this because of what she's doing. She ends up being like the leader of this group. But yeah, Cole has to fight back, and chaos ensues. Look, I can't really talk much more about it without spoiling anything, and it's probably going to be the simplest way out. Cole has to man up. He realizes he is in love with his friend who dared him to spy, and that becomes a thing that actually carries over into the second movie, which I really liked, which was kind of a big surprise, the second movie, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But he has to man up and fight back and survive the night. And that's the gist of the movie, and it's a lot of fun, and I cannot, if you like silly horror movies, just silly horror, bloody horror movies, it's just, this movie is a gore fest. I've seen worse, but man, does the blood flow, and then there's plenty of jokes about it. So yeah, I cannot recommend The Babysitter enough. I love Samara Weaving in this. Judah Lewis is great as Cole. What's funny is I'm not like the biggest Bella Thorne fan, but I really like her in this. I'm not the biggest Robbie Amell fan, but I really like him in this. So it's just kind of great that this movie was able to just bring a fun cast together, have a blast, and have a silly, bloody, not so scary, but still horror comedy good time. So I cannot recommend The Babysitter enough. Alright, now on to movie number 2, The Babysitter Killer Queen. This one just came out this year, so I don't expect a new Babysitter movie for another couple years if they're going to do it. But this movie takes place about 2 years or so after the events of the first movie. And Cole, you think he'd be the hero now, right? He fended off these people trying to kill him and all of that. Well, no. Everyone thinks he's lying. So for 2 years, he's been telling people this is what happened, and they don't believe him. Now, Melanie, his neighbor, the girl that his friend that who they kind of got together at the end of the first movie. Of course, she believes him because she was there. They were chased around by Bee in her house in part of that movie. So she believes him, but she has to kind of keep it, she has to keep it a secret because he didn't want anyone to think bad about her. And of course, Cole wouldn't want that for her either. But here's the kicker. In this, they aren't together. It comes out that she doesn't like him like that, even though you can tell she does. She has a boyfriend, but you can tell she still really likes him and he really likes her. And it gets to a point where Cole's parents are going to send him off to like another school, and it's a place where that he can get mental health help and stuff like that. So they're going to go look at this place after school one day, but Melanie says, look, let's get out of town. Our friends and everybody are going to get out of town. Come with us. So he does. And also enter Phoebe, the new girl. She is a troubled teen. She comes in, you can tell she's like the bad girl, right? But you can also tell that she has a bit of a geek streak. So you could tell, first thing you're thinking is, and this is something I loved about this movie, is they kind of tease a love triangle. And a lot of you know how much I hate love triangles, but boy, does this movie just turn the love triangle on its head, and I love it. I'll just say that. And I liked what they did with it. Even though the twist of the love triangle and the twist that happens in the movie, one of the twists, it kind of didn't make sense, but hey, fine, I'm cool with it. People change over a couple years sometimes, so I'll just say that. So they go away, And here's, again, we're going to get into kind of some spoiler territory, and I do have to talk about this stuff. They get away, and they're playing a game, just like in the first movie. And just like the first movie, there's a WTF moment where it flashes up on the screen. And of course, I didn't verbally say it this time, but it did have me going, it happened again. And of course, it says WTF again on the screen. I loved it. But what's crazy is when Cole tries to get away from this situation, he runs into some people he thought was dead. Again, spoilers. The villains from the first one, minus B, are there. And he's just like, wait a minute, I kind of killed you, watched you die, kind of things. The first one, and they're like, it comes to find out that the deal that they made is they can come back, like, I believe it was every 2 years, to try to do the ritual again. And just like the first movie, this is where the movie gets crazy and bloody and disgusting and hilarious. It's really hard to just describe it. Again, it's the same kind of humor. It's the same kind of violence. There's a lot of callback jokes. I highly recommend, if you watch these movies, watch them back to back, because there's a lot of carryover jokes from the first one to the second one. One of the jokes is, and I talked about this in the review for the first one, is you find out that these vapid people, their reasons for wanting, the life that they want to do this ritual, and you find out they go with flashbacks, and this is where you get Samara Weaving. They show where she approached them the first time. So she's not in. Samara Weaving's not in this very much. I will say that is pretty unfortunate. But she approaches them, and you see, like, for example, Robbie Amell's character, who, by the way, there's this whole thing about him having a shirt off all the time, and just, it's something you think, it's like, why don't you not have a shirt? And a character will ask him, why do you not have a shirt? And it's pretty funny. His character just wants to kill people. That's his reason. He wants to just be able to kill people all the time. Bella Thorne's character wants to be on television, but you see why she failed, and it's hilarious. You get the character of John, who he wants to be a hip-hop star, and you find out why he failed, because he sucks. And it's just funny that these supposed popular people, or they were popular in high school, they were just nobodies. They didn't have any real talent. They just were just terrible people that wanted something and didn't want to work hard for it, and now they're trying to find the easy way out, and I thought that was hilarious. As I talked about the love triangle, I loved what they did with that. And it does play into the reasons why... it plays in the reasons why the bad guys need Cole. And I do like that as well. I did really like the character Phoebe, played by Jenna Ortega. She was just a fun character. And like I said, she's kind of the geek chick, trying to be the badass, right? So again, this movie has a lot of the same fun as the first one, but not only do you have the villains from the first one, you have new villains as well. And again, Cole has to find new reasons to fight. He has to find new ways to man up. Again, there's carryover jokes with that too, where things he failed at in the first one, he succeeds at in this one. There's just a lot of that, and it's really funny, and it's a lot of fun, and it's gory. And I highly recommend this one as well. But again, I highly recommend that you block off enough time to watch both these movies back to back, because to catch a lot of the jokes, a lot of the carryover jokes, you have to have watched them recently together. Now I need to talk about the endings of both movies. So again, big time spoilers here, but it's something. This is like the only thing that really bothered me about the movie. So are you still with me? Okay, because I'm talking big spoilers here. There's a mid-credit scene in both movies. The first one, the mid-credit scene shows the character of B, who has been crushed by a car. A firefighter goes in looking for her, but she's not there. He turns around and she like jumps out and stabs him with a knife. Cut to the rest of the credits. So you know that B's still alive. But her motivations, I won't talk about them, but her motivations in the second movie don't really mesh up. Like, they tell you something about her character in this, in the second one, that don't mesh up with that ending. It would mesh up with it if they hadn't showed the mid-credit scene. But with the mid-credit scene, she's like still brutally murdering people. And then she gets away. And the movie does show you, the beginning of the second movie does show you that she gets away, but it doesn't show you the mid-credit scene. It just says she got away. She disappeared. And the end of the second movie, you find out some things about B that don't mesh up with that mid-credit scene. So that was really the only problem I had. I don't really want to talk about it, but just know that I think the second movie doesn't consider the mid-credit scene canon. And if it does, it doesn't ruin anything, but it kind of doesn't play into the motivations that come out in the second movie about the character of B. And again, there is a mid-credit scene at the end of the second movie. It just kind of teases, hey, there could be a third, and that's fine with me. So, all in all, again, I highly recommend these movies, but you have to be in the mood for something just silly and gory. Again, if you loved Ready or Not, and if you love Samara Weaving, you're going to love both these movies. I had a great time with them. I watched them back to back. I mean, literally back to back. Watched one, took a bathroom break, watched the second one. And I did not regret it one bit. I had a very good time, and if you watch them, I hope you do too. That's going to be all for this edition of the Talkin Movies Double Feature. If you like what you've heard here, please subscribe to the Real Gino YouTube channel. Like this video. If you have anything to say about either of these movies, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Till next time, I'm your host, the Real Gino, Gino Reynolds. See you later.